talk to me a little bit about your origin story and how you came to discover Taylor and come to love her.
I didn't really have a huge awareness of her for the first few albums. And then,
Really?
yeah, I mean, I knew who she was, but I didn't really focus on just how big a deal she was. And then I forget what year it was, 60 Minutes. Leslie Stahl, I think, did a piece about her, which I watched. I don't watch 60 Minutes much, but I did watch that. And that piece did a good job of capturing just how big her following was, particularly amongst young, teenage girls. And I think she's an extraordinary songwriter. Now, we'll get to the new album and my thoughts on that, but I think she's an extraordinary songwriter. And I just started listening more and more to her music and following her. And part of my interest is I like the lyrics. I like the hit tunes. I'm so fascinated by her business model. I think it's incredibly compelling. And then I went to Toronto to see the fifth to last show of the Eras tour, and that was it. Hook, line, sinker. After that show, that tour really is one of the great epic events of the century, I think.
What about the Eras tour compelled you to go? I'm assuming that's the first time you saw her live.
It was first and
Okay.
only. All my son's friends' moms went to Europe to see it, and they all came back and they said, "You can't miss it. Like, don't make the mistake of missing out on something unique." Yeah, I've seen the Rolling Stones, I've seen Bruce Springsteen, I've seen lots of big acts. This was more elaborately and cleverly produced, and more of a participatory event than any concert I've been to, and the spirit of community was really powerful. And then again, I just think her music and her lyrics are fantastic. So the songs themselves were great, but the stagecraft of it was spectacular.
Two questions. Who did you go to the Eras tour with? And did you feel at all out of place being not what one would call her target demo?
Wife and son, and no, because there were plenty of people there not in the target demo.
Really?
It was Toronto, Canada.
Is that why you went to Toronto?
No, it was just by
Under
the time.
cover of Canadian,
No,
you know?
no, just by the time we aspired to go, the tour had already finished in America. It was in either Europe or Latin America, and then it finished in Canada. I don't know why, but the last, I think, 6 shows were in Canada, maybe 7 of the whole
Mark,
tour.
do you own any friendship bracelets?
I don't, but someone tried to give me one at the concert, and I told them they'd be better served handing it to someone else.
Mark,
What?
that doesn't seem very like in the spirit.
No. I didn't say it gruffly. I just was like, I'm not going to wear it. Give it to somebody who will. But I enjoyed the culture of it. And did you go to the tour?
No, I
No.
didn't.
So
No.
they gave you like a light up bracelet that had like AI in it, so they could create patterns in the audience based on where you were sitting.
That's really cool.
And I have those. I consider those to be my equivalent of my friendship bracelet.
Okay, I just want to say, that's guts. That's guts to decline a friendship bracelet, an
I
offer
did
of
it.
friendship.
I did it nicely, and I did it for the right reason. I was like, give it to some little girl who will take it home and hang it on her window and or mirror and think it's like the greatest thing ever.
I understand. Now, we need to move on to the single. I don't know if this is the
Yeah.
new single, but it's the only song anybody's talking about off this new album, which she did not do with Jack Antonoff, who has been her producer / collaborator for at least the past few. And she went back to Max Martin, the hit factory that is Max Martin. Now,
Yep.
there is criticism, and I hear this in the song, that she has ripped off the Jackson 5. It's more than a sort of influence.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the song Wood, which is an ode to Travis Kelce's member. We're going to take a quick look at her talking about the song's meaning on Jimmy Fallon.
No, so I brought this into the studio and I was like, I want to do sort of like I want to like do a throwback kind of timeless sounding song. And I have this idea about like, I ain't got to knock on wood, and we would knock on wood and it would be all these superstitions. And it really started out in a very innocent place.
So what do you make of this? This is a real departure for Taylor. She's never been this frankly sexual on a song before.
Yeah. Well, she's a grown up. Look, I dispute the premise in the sense that if you go look at some of the videos, even back to the earliest videos, There's imagery in there that's sexual. She's not avoided it completely, but this is a different kind of relationship for her, right? Her previous boyfriends were like skinny, brooding artists, maybe sometimes even a little bit fey, and now she's dating an NFL football player. So I think it does. They seem to drink a lot together.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. There's a lot of talk about, the level of possible partying that's going on there, which I find interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder do you think Taylor and Travis should get a cocaine clause a la Keith and Nicole?
I mean, I think it's the thing to do these days, right? The cocaine clause can make one of the two rich. But I don't know if they necessarily. I am interested in whether they're getting a prenup. I think that's like a incredibly compelling question, particularly for Travis.
How so for Travis and not for Taylor?
Well, no, I mean, Travis has got more to gain from a prenup, but I don't know if it's considered like wimpy to be an NFL player and think you want a prenup.
Wait, you think Travis has more to gain than Taylor from getting a prenup?
Wasn't she way richer than he is?
Well, that's what I mean. I think she would gain more from having a prenup because she's worth so much more money.
Yeah. I mean, in that sense, it sort of depends on what it says, right? She would want a protective one. If I were him, I might want one just for the symbolism of it and to have some minimum guarantee.
Oh, I think there's no way this woman's getting married without a prenup.
Yeah, well, presumably. But again, it's going to depend on what it says, right? It could be a very generous prenup. It could be like $1 billion.
What I would kill to see that prenup. That prenup's going to be 5 inches thick with clauses and sub clauses and blah, blah, blah. Before we move on from Taylor, I want to take a quick look at her on Graham Norton's show this week. I love Graham Norton. And, his thing is he has like 4 or 5 celebrities on the couch at once. Yeah. Which is interesting for a star of Taylor's stature. Normally she would not participate in such a thing.
Totally agree.
Right? So here she is on Graham Norton and she's seated next to Cillian Murphy, who I love and who deservedly won the Oscar for Oppenheimer. And Graham is asking her about the engagement ring, and just keep your eye on Cillian's expressions here, because Cillian, I think, is dying on the inside, but he's doing a lot to play ball. Let's take a look.
And there's a lot to congratulate Taylor Swift about, but the one that I feel I ought to congratulate is the new bit of finger jewelry.
The hardware upgrade?
Yes. Check it out.
Cillian's like, kill me now. So we're looking, and that's pretty much that. So what do you make of that, Mark?
I have two reactions. First, well, 3, including reaction to your direct question, which is it was just a classic look. I feel bad for people listening on the podcast because you got to go to YouTube and see, because it was a look that would amuse and kill at the same time. 2, I love that show. He's a brilliant interviewer.
He is.
And I don't know if it's him or the bookers, but they just put people on the couch. It's so interesting. And the fact, as you said, that she agreed to do it. The other thing I thought of when I saw that was the Wall Street Journal reported that Donald Trump is obsessed with telling people that he cut his finger on Pam Bondi's wedding ring. I don't know what he was doing with Pam Bondi's wedding ring, but at some point the ring itself produced an injury. And that's what I think of now when I see that. That thing's like a lethal weapon.
First of all, I agree with you on Graham Norton, and I think obviously his bookers are geniuses, but Graham is so fast. He is so witty.
Yeah,
it's like being invited or a fly on the wall to some of the most interesting dinner parties you could ever hope to be at.
Agreed.
And yeah, I'm not a fan of the ring though. I'm not. I think it looks very, it's like an attempt to look vintage and kind of cool. Maybe even a little bit steampunk, but it just doesn't work for me. I don't know. And then she said, sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
No, I'll weigh in on the ring. I'll weigh in on the ring. I agree with you. It's basically nothing. It does nothing for me. It's not anything evocative or exciting. It just is.
Yeah. But you know what it is? It's big.
Yeah, it's big. And that's why I say it's dangerous. To me, it's mostly a weapon.
I think the cooler swerve would have been something that was sentimental, a family heirloom, sort of maybe repurposed in that way, something that felt a little bit more modest. We know you're a billionaire. Yep. We know your husband-to-be is very wealthy. There's no need to really display it in this sort of gargantuan way. Last month, I told you about Honeylove, an independent female-founded brand, and their products are designed by women who actually wear them. Honeylove bras are supportive and wire-free thanks to bonding technology that lifts without underwire. They recently launched their new Cloud Embrace bra, which sold out in days. Of course it did. It's a modern wireless t-shirt bra with sturdy, lightly padded foam cups, and it feels like a cloud against your skin. This is a wireless bra for people who love the underwire effect, but not the pain of underwire. And this style is bound to sell out again, so do not wait to try it. I love this about Honeylove. Their products, the bras, they are soft, they are supple, they give you clean lines, and they are comfortable. You forget that you're wearing them. So treat yourself to the most advanced bras and shapewear on the market. Save 20% off Honeylove at honeylove.com/nerve. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off honeylove.com/nerve and find your perfect fit. After you make your purchase, they're going to ask you, where did you hear about us? And please say, I'm a troublemaker and the Nerve sent me. Experience the new standard in bras and shapewear with Honeylove.